I'm just in the meantime making sure that I'm updating the body of the exercise here with the proper warehouse. And then the enter the G number here. Okay, I think that was the only other thing to make sure here.
And whenever you think it's best, I can share the BI presentation with them, because I think it's reference material that we can check, but not go through all the slides. But definitely we can share in the chat whenever you think it's best. Okay.
Okay, sure. If you that's the one for virtual goods receipt.
Yeah.
The process timeline. Okay. If you want to share it, I can also access it directly. If we have to, just to cover the KPIs. No, I don't know. It's just the sense I don't want to share the screen too much, just for the recording not to break up.
Exactly. So you keep your screen always on. So I will shoot that one in a private chat.
Okay.
And you can retrieve it from there. Okay.
All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna have this ready.
Yeah, you should go to your VI inbox and double check that you have received the 2 reports.
Okay.
I mean, it would be great to show the guys how to do that in case they don't know, but I think it's really too much.
I know, right?
Brian.
There's so much. Yes.
Brian,
yes.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wrote you something. To your mail. Okay, if you can have a look, which I think is important. I mean, aside all the processes, you know, as a bottom line, is interaction between roles, responsibility, and chronological events when you process a transaction.
All right. The only thing is, I only have one screen, so if I take a look at it now, I'm going to share it on screen. So if that's the case, we might as well talk about it.
Since we are, I don't want to steal time from your explanation, so that's why I do not jump in the discussion. So now that it's in break, maybe we can discuss. So basically, what we noticed during Pyro, okay, analyzing the transactions, is that if you do not follow the transactions in a chronological events, meaning things are done on time and step by step, then you can create discrepancies. I'll give you an example, okay? When the TR for GR, from the GR, there is a TR which is created, okay? If you do not process the TR on time, and on the other side you have an inventory which create a reservation from the same equipment, the reservation and the good issue creates a new TR which pointing out against the 902, okay? So basically, at that stage, you have two TR, one from the GR and one from the reservation GI. Okay? If you process the TR from the GI before putting away and finalizing the TO for put away, then you create a negative quantity.
Yeah. It's kind of like you're clearing the differences almost. Yes. The point is do things correctly one by one and in chronological order. If not, you're going to make a
correct.
Mess.
Yeah. Exactly. And believe me, we found a lot of discrepancies on that. Or for example, if you do a return voucher from inventory perspective and you do not perform a dismantling action, but you return directly the item in stock, then the system maintains the business partner and the functional allocation, and it creates a discrepancy in terms of statuses. So Umoja is very straightforward. You have to do it everything on time and in a chronological events. You cannot skip one step to the other one. Communication is important. People need to understand that communication is one of the important things, because inventory and warehouse are two different modules, okay? If you take an action in inventory, but you do not communicate to warehouse and vice versa, you create a discrepancy between the two.
Exactly, Angelo, and I think that's the point that we're trying to stress the most during this training is how one action impacts another. Correct. So inventory management and warehouse management. Well, we spent the first day trying to really get that in your heads is how one transaction will definitely escalate and impact the other. And even before that, we even saw what we were discussing this morning, right? The shopping cart with the wrong product ID. So imagine the inventory guy or girl doesn't realize, processes that, the warehouse doesn't either, and here we go. And we just keep creating a ball that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's why Pyro was, such a cleanup event.
Yeah,
and that's what you guys.
We saw.
I'm sure.
Okay, great. Sorry, guys. Just to add to that, we had a lot of these problems in Minijust. Okay, people doing actions before one other action was completed. People doing stuff in inventory and not fixing it in the warehouse. And also we had scenarios where people were deactivating equipment before it was removed from the warehouse. So I think, we discussed this a lot about following the steps logically. Otherwise, we run into all sorts of problems, especially during liquidation when staff are going out, going down, changes of staff, different roles that they're getting, and they're not fully aware of them.
Exactly. I mean, because at the end, T codes are fine. I mean, we are not expecting that everybody learn, by memory all the T codes, but it's important that everybody are aware about the impact of the events. One event has to be taken in one at a time and in the right process. And like I say, chronological events and communications. Those are the two things that we need to communicate. People need to understand in Umoja.
And if
there will be the T codes, etc. They will learn time by time.
Yeah, in my way, if I may, I think it's, as you guys are saying, now it becomes even more important, the idea of having everyone together in all the sessions, regardless your, let's say, track or eventually the terms of reference that you will be carrying out when you're deployed, because you really need to know the follow-on events after your actions and the ones that are preceding your actions. And now that everyone is in the same board and everyone more or less is having access to the same amount of information from there, I think that's a clean start in terms of training perspective, right? So that's why we did insist a lot in having everyone together from the very first day.
Yep. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Joseph, and also Daniel. Okay, so I came in, I logged into BI, all right, and I am accessing my inbox in BI. Basically, we don't want to get into how I access my inbox and so on, but Daniel, the other trainer that's just spoke right now, has sent me a couple of reports, right? Or maybe, is it a couple of reports? I see 2 of the 21 April from DCreato, so that has to be right now, 305, 306. So these are the 2 reports that have been, correct me if I'm wrong, Daniel, you generated, right? You worked on them already. And when I open them, I'm basically going to see, right, what you have created.
Exactly. You should see what's the initial prompt, the master data elements that I identified, and then you will have to relaunch again, and you will see the layout that I created especially for the AWS, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we can go one by one. We can take the Web Intelligence report first.
Okay. And
Which
here it's difficult to recognize the icons, but it should be this first one.
No,
analysis.
it's the second.
Sorry, it's the second one. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So report 10 virtual timeline. We see here type Web Intelligence. It's not. There you go. Hopefully everybody sees it. So I'm double clicking on that one, and it's loading my tab here for that report. And while that one loads, I can go back to documents here and do the same for the second report and have them both, generating the prompt at the same time. Now, the good thing about this is that, Daniel did all the dirty work already. He actually populated the prompt for these reports. So one of them is a Web Intelligence report. The other one is an AWS. What was the difference? Remember, Daniel explained that yesterday. One is an official document that is pretty much defaulted with the data given that has a specific KPI in mind. And that's with the first one that we're going to extract information from. What Daniel has done is created the dates here, added the date, from July 1st, 2019 to April 21st. So from July to today, pretty much, for the receiving plant CD10 MONUSCO, reporting entity MONUSCO. Okay. Daniel, if you want to add something. I heard a noise. I'm sure you wanted to jump in.
I was chatting with Gianluca Aventagiato.
Okay.
So yes, basically, in this report number 10 on the virtual goods receipt process timeline will define you the average time that it needs to record a virtual goods receipt, but only for fixed assets. So basically, we're monitoring how much time it takes to recognize the fixed asset in transit in order to be aligned with the delivery principle in Ipsos. Okay, so in general terms, based on the property management unit in New York, they target this KPI set between I think it's 15 days with a tolerance of 5 days. So basically, the moment that we are going to receive a fixed asset and it's a virtual goods receipt, we have between 15 or 20 days to recognize the asset from the, let's say, goods receipt perspective, right, in our books. So this report will give us that information, right? So if you click in OK, basically it's within the range of time of 1st of July 2019 up until now. And it's going to take a while, so do not think that these reports are going fast, depending on the report, but this one is particularly slow. So it may take 2-3 minutes to retrieve the information. So we can do the same as we speak, Brian, with the AWS. Mm-hmm. So we have the same information in 2 different perspectives. I pretty much selected the same time range, I believe. And in this case, the receiving plant will be CD10, which is MONUSCO, and I put the reporting entity as well, MONUSCO. So you can click on OK, and then we will be launching